We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV.
Good day. Today is 5th February 2026, 8 months after we lost Zambia's 6th president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. It's really a sad, somber moment. Every time we remember that the country has not put to rest its former president, whatever the issues, I think the late president requires that we put him to rest. And it should be in all our powers, government, the family, and all stakeholders, to ensure that this is done. My appeal is that a day like this reminds us of who we are as a people. Is this the kind of people we wish to be? Today we are privileged that EMV is appearing on Millennium TV. And to our dear audience from Millennium TV, good evening and thank you very much for joining us. Today we are hosting Dr. Richard SILUMBE. He's a researcher, he's an academic, he's a businessman, entrepreneur, but he's also leader of a political party called Leadership Movement Party. Let me just welcome Dr. Richard SILUMBE. Welcome to today's broadcast.
Well, thank you very much, Ramwamba. I appreciate being on this podcast, the EMV, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. It's been long coming. We kept on postponing. Either you were busy and I was free, or I was free and you were busy. But I'm glad that we are here. Many have heard your name, the name of your party, especially during voter registration and by-elections. I think you have featured candidates across the country, especially in ward and even parliamentary by-elections. But before we get to what Leadership Movement Party is and what it stands for, just briefly tell us about yourself. Tell the audience who Dr. Richard SILUMBE is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Richard SILUMBE is a humble Zambian, a privileged Zambian citizen who happened to come from a very difficult background. I attained my education in the times when we had the real free education, and I went to the university. I was given a scholarship to go and study in Russia. Then I went to South Korea. And after all these privileges, because I lost my father when I had just completed my grade 12. And when I just completed my grade 12, I lost my father. So it was a difficult time altogether. But because we were living in a country that was still a country and full of opportunities, I was privileged to have that scholarship to study in Russia. From Russia, I went to South Korea. From there, I had so many privileges to go and work in Samsung, for instance, which was my sponsor then. But I decided that with all these privileges that I was given, because of my hard work, of course, I needed to come and serve in my country. This is why I came back in 2007, established a number of companies and businesses, and then as time went by, I realized that we have a void of leadership in this country. I was able to see how politicians and the politics in this country was broken. It was all about insults. Whoever insults the best is the most popular person. So we decided with a number of the like-minded people to come up with the leadership movement that would speak to the development of this country. We decided that we talk about things that build this country and not petty bickering, talking about name calling and so on and so forth. So leadership movement, in a nutshell, it stands for development. We talk about production. We want to see production. We want to see ownership of our natural resources. We want to own our mines. We want to own our land with title deeds. We want to see development with what God has given us. And this is what is lacking, and this is what was not spoken in the political.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. Before I get there, you mentioned something very important. Doc, you mentioned something very important, that you lost your father, but you had a great opportunity to get a government scholarship, and you studied in Russia, and then you went to South Korea on a Samsung sponsorship. Those two key issues are very important to young people who are looking for opportunities, who feel lost in this kind of economy where there are no opportunities, especially for children, coming from deprived backgrounds like yourself. So how did you get the scholarship, and how did you get the further scholarship to South Korea? Just speak to that to inspire some young people. Hello, team. Kindly add Dr. SILUMBE's volume.
Tazara station.
Yeah, continue.
Are you getting me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yes, so I was saying, after the demise of our father, the family degenerated into massive suffering, and my mother was just selling tea at Tazara station, and I opted to get to the streets, and I was selling in the streets of Kapirimposhi, selling some biscuits. Like any of these Zambian souls, young people who don't have anything to do. I spent a few months trading at the station, but then I decided and realized that I have something much more than just being on the streets. And December 1998, I decided to come to Lusaka to seek for opportunities. I spent days, if not weeks, sleeping at Zambia Railways station there, looking around, moving from embassy to embassy, went to the bursaries committee, and so on and so forth. By then, I'd gotten a scholarship to study at UNZA and CBU, but then there was an amount that was needed there because I needed to pay for registration fees and so many other things, which my mother could not manage. So I decided to push for a sponsorship. And I was given that opportunity. I bumped into a Russian government scholarship. I applied there. I remember that day when we went to Lusaka Girls Secondary School there. We sat for aptitude tests and I passed. It was a competitive test, but I came out number one, and I was assured that I'll be able to get this scholarship, and the rest was history. I moved on. We worked hard until September 2000. That's when we left to Russia. In Russia, I continued studying because I knew that my life is anchored on creating a new life for myself and for my siblings. So after studies, I completed my first degree in Russia, and I got a distinction degree. Because of my distinction degree, I was given a Samsung government scholarship. That was a quasi Samsung and the South Korean government scholarship, and I went to study in South Korea.
Yeah,
after that, I was able now to complete my master's degree.
The leadership.
After my master's degree, came back in 2007 to cultivate whatever I've gotten into our. I went back and enrolled for a PhD. I completed my PhD, came back, continued cultivating myself, creating companies, doing some research, and so many other things. And at an opportune time, I decided that this experience that I've gotten, knowing how South Korea was in the 1960s, it was poorer than the nation Zambia. 60 years later, you can't even compare South Korea to Zambia, because the founding fathers of South Korea, they believed in production, which we lacked, unfortunately, here in Zambia. And this is why my voice in the political arena has always centered on production, because it's production that makes nations. Anything else, you can talk and talk. You can call so many foreign investors. They'll come and abuse the country, get whatever they want, and leave the nation worse than they found it. It is better for us as Zambians to realize that these resources that we have been given are ours to use. We need to make use of this, produce tangible products, and with these products we can trade with other countries and bring resources to this country, financial resources, and from there development can be pronounced.
Thank you very much. You hinted on a process that prompted you to join partisan politics. You said the narrative in the country was not about production, was not about development, was not about national unity, but slander, malicious attacks, and the narrative was not impressive to you. When did you form Leadership Movement Party, and who are some of your colleagues that you came together to form this party?
I was born in 2019. When we formed the Leadership Movement, we started the movement, we started preaching the gospel of production. We started preaching the gospel of owning our natural resources, such as land, such as minerals. We saw copper being rampaged in this country. We saw gold being taken away from this country. So many other minerals, such as cobalt, manganese, and we spoke to that. And we continued our advocacy until the fateful day of October 13th, 2019, when we happened to crash with the ruling party then, the PF government, because the PF government saw the movement as a very forceful movement, and they decided to slander around the leadership movement. They found some of our cadres, and because of the back and forth with the PF, who were panga welding guys, and those pangas somehow were transferred to our members, and then from there they decided to say that our people, the leadership movement, is actually a party that is having pangas and is advocating for violence. And I was arrested, and many of my people were arrested. And from there we were given a number of cases, such as being found in possession with offensive weapons, and we fought that case. And this is how grave the PF was at that time, because it did not choose which person to attack, which political party is relevant, and so on and so forth. So we want such an environment to be behind us, because we need to focus on politics that builds the nation and not politics of slander. So from 2019, we were given cases that jeopardized our movement, and our campaigns were quite shattered then until, because 2019, that was when we were coming into COVID-19 and campaigns were suspended, and the PF decided that no one should campaign except themselves. And the UPND, which was quite big enough to actually go against government and proceed with campaigns anyway. So from that time, we have been in that situation until 2021. Then we were now given an opportunity now to be able to talk about things that we believe should be part of the political arena. And this is the kind of politics that we are taking as leadership movement. We want to talk about production. We want Zambians to own their properties. We don't want a situation where come 2060 or 2070, you find that Zambians are relegated to the commons, such as Mrs. When they go out there, they find that land has been taken away by foreigners and they have title deeds. We want this country to give title deeds only to Zambians and not to foreigners. We want, for instance, this gold rush, which is happening today. You find that foreigners have gone into gold mining. Foreigners have taken our manganese. Foreigners have taken our copper. Foreigners have taken our cobalt, and so on and so forth. And when you hear the politics around that time, before we came as leadership movement, it was about looking for foreign investors. Oh, we need foreign investors to come and invest in our country. Oh, we need foreign investors to come and do this. Foreign investors to come and do that. But when are we going to stop singing this song of foreign investors? Because we have seen from 1964, we have seen what foreigners can do to this country. They never build countries. Foreigners, they dismantle the country, decimate the countries. They abuse the countries. They exploit countries until they have nothing left. It's time we change the narrative. We want Zambians themselves to own their natural resources. Leadership movement speaks to the fact that we want ZNS to own mines. We want ZNS to own state farms so that we can be productive. We want farmers, every farmer out there, before he's given FISIP, is given a title deed, because with a title, he owns an asset. You cannot talk about helping farmers when they are living and they own nothing. You help them with fertilizer and so on and so forth. The land they have, they don't own it. They are squatters in their own country. So these are some of the changes that the leadership movement talks to, and we want to continue with this kind of advocacy. And we are happy that now we have an environment where we can talk about these things, and we want to ensure that Zambians now, and you can see Bamwamba, nowadays, wherever you look, politicians now have changed the narrative thanks to the leadership movement. Those days, it was just about slander and investors. Today, thanks to the leadership movement, every politician you hear about, they will talk about owning our gold, owning our land. And I love that, because we have contributed and we want this trend to continue. Leadership movement would actually be very happy when we see all politicians around. They are talking with one voice. They are talking about owning this country and ensuring that Zambians take control of our land and our natural resources. On that day, unity will come into this country, because we will know that it doesn't matter which leader you put in power. Our direction is right, and future generations are going to benefit from such an ideology that talks about Zambians being on the driver's seat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. The country has been talking about opposition unity, that the opposition must be united. Are you engaged in any other way with any political alliance? Are you speaking to your colleagues in the opposition?
We are always in contact with many of our political, competitors. And we don't call them competitors because at the moment we are seeing that there is this trend of we want to liberate the Zambian people. And the only thing that is missing in our political dispensation, Bamwamba, is that if you remember 1991, we were speaking about multi-party democracy, and we fought for it, and we got the multi-party democracy. Today, when you look around, you find that in many of these, our political parties, we are not practicing intra-party democracy. And the lack of intra-party democracy, Bamwamba, is what is leading to this division that you are seeing, which is unnecessary. If we had a political party that practices intra-party democracy, you wouldn't see these political parties around as many as we are seeing today. We would be talking about having maybe 2 political parties. Imagine if we were having political parties that run like Democrats in the US where you are, or Republicans, where anyone with an idea to sell in the party would join the party and be allowed to run as president and be able to campaign within the party. If his ideas cannot be bought, then he realizes that they cannot sell. And he continues with those opportunities. Now look at what we have in Zambia today. You have a very big political party. Amongst themselves, no, the one who leads doesn't want others to participate. We need a level playing field so that Zambians can choose, be it in a political party. Imagine, I can give you an example of the PF. If there was intra-party democracy, this division wouldn't be there. People would be there, you will be running, all these other political, leaders who are now jetting out of the PF would be running also, and then they prove their popularity within the party. If they lose, then they remain because now they have been given an opportunity and the people have spoken. But the lack of intra-party democracy has led to these splinter political parties. Bamwamba, you cannot go to any political party and say, my ideology is this, I want this. No one will allow that because they feel that they have reached. That is the only way they think it should be, and that leader will remain like that. You are seeing what is happening in this, and these divisions, they continue. But they are okay because it's healthy, because we are in a democratic dispensation. What I like to see as one of those opposition leaders is for these leaders who have ideas, different ideologies, to be able to participate freely in a democracy. When they participate, then Zambians will speak. When Zambians speak, in the second round, everyone will unite and will support the candidate who come out number 2. Every political party, every opposition political party is going to support that one and is going to win. This is what we saw in 2021. Remember, 2021 we saw President Hakainde Hichilema there and so many other political parties. We stood and we got very little votes. Others got small votes. But when we saw that the PF actually did not want to come out of power, we stood up with one voice and we said that HH has won and we want to see democracy. And it happened. So why should it be different in 2026? Let everyone stand, because we lack intra-party democracy. Therefore, a national election is like an intra-party democracy. So in the first round, We want to see the likes of Hari Kalaba standing. We want to see the likes of my brother EFF President Kasonde Mwenda. We want to see Ichaba Iche, my young brother Mpundu there. We want to see Honorable Brian Munduwira there. We want to see even yourself, Bamwamba, there. We want to see all these people, Walubinda. We are going to have the first run-up. Then the most popular candidate, we are going to support him, all of us. It will not even be a question of saying whether you want unity or not, because that is just normal, because Zambians have spoken, and we are going to support that. That which should have been an intra-party democracy, because we cannot agree, let the national election serve as an intra-party democracy, where everyone is allowed to showcase their ability to lead, and then the people will choose. Then the second will run with the ruling party, and they will definitely win. We cannot have a situation where people are calling for everyone to support one candidate who has never been subjected to an election. Like we are hearing selfish individuals saying, no, everyone should just stop, let's just support one person. Which election has he been subjected to for everyone to prove that he's the most popular person? There's nothing like that. So we want to see Brian Munduwira also participate. We want to see Baluvinda. We want to see everyone. Then from there, Zambians are going to see who is the most popular, and we are going to support that. It is like we are in Africa Cup of Nations. Then people say, we are already seeing Cameroon and Nigeria, they are the best teams here. Why are we wasting time in the preliminaries? Let them just play the finals. It's okay, we are wasting money in the Africa Cup of Nations. Let's just have these two play the finals and we end the story. This is what is happening in Zambia today. We are forgetting that we lack intra-party democracy. And because of lack of intra-party democracy, you are going to see these splinter political parties. You are going to see even the PF, which should be leading by example, where we could see Bamwambai, you are participating, everyone, then we choose. Because amongst these leaders, if the PF can choose one person, believe me, there can be unity in the opposition. But look at what we are seeing today. One person doesn't want others to participate. We are hearing conventions that are just moving from one day to another, perpetual postponement. It's because of selfishness and the lack of intra-party democracy. And because of that, therefore, a national election serves as a democratic platform where anybody with ideas or dreams can test their dreams against the rough surface of the reality, and the Zambians will speak, and all of us will come and unite, because now we have seen that Honorable Lubinda is the most preferred candidate, for instance, or Brian Munduwira, or myself, or Hari Kalaba, or anybody. But we would love to see all these people with different dreams to be in a democratic dispensations. That is what we want to see as a leadership movement, because we want leaders to be tested. We cannot just come together and say, oh, enough is enough, let the same people continue running. Bamwamba, we are now growing. These preliminaries are preparing future leaders. You cannot say we only have this one and the rest are not necessary in the political dispensation, and you want to just push one person. You are killing the future. What will happen after 2026? What will happen after 2031? These other leaders are still in the nursery. They are growing, they are developing, and they need to participate. So the idea of unity must be on principle, must be based on democracy and not, privilege. Because it's about privileges. Not because me, I was appointed by this one. Not me, I was told that I should be the running mate. Which democracy acts like that? There is no such a democracy. As if we are putting Litunga, or we are putting Mwinelu Memba, or other chiefs. We are politicians. In a political system, there must be elections. And elections are the best areas where you can test your popularity and where you can see whether the values you are adding is actually appreciated or not. And based on that, that is where superiority comes. Those who have bigger numbers, we have everyone who support them, because now we are in the second round where those people now, the two candidates can now run against each other, and the opposition will run around one opposition candidate. And believe me, Mwamba, this election by UPND, they are not getting it. They cannot raise a 50+1. And we are going to have a second round, and during that period, you are going to see unity of purpose in the opposition.
Thank you very much. On the concerns around the country, what are your concerns? What's the state of the country according to the leadership movement? The issue of the constitution, the governance issue, the issues around the economy, and matters relating to ECZ. What is the view of leadership movement on these key issues?
Bill 7, they said it themselves that they dribbled the Zambian people and got Bill 7 in. We were the first people to oppose Bill 7, and we are very disappointed. We saw the economy that should have been growing, it has been weakened thanks to the UPND inefficiency and incompetence. We are seeing all these things, and the Zambian people have felt it. The UPND has failed the Zambian people in terms of the economy and in terms of many things that should enable Zambians say, we have leadership. Of course, there are certain areas where they have scored. For instance, I always say this because I have been a victim. I saw how criminality and violence was played in the PF, and we have seen how we participated in Chawama. We didn't have any violence. So that is something that we can say maybe they have scored. But when we talk about the economy, they have done nothing. There is poverty everywhere. We used to have a lot of money, be it in businesses before 2021. Now things are getting bad for every business in this country because the UPND have failed. They have failed the Zambian people. When it comes to ECZ, we have seen how they have manipulated ECZ. We have seen how cadres have been appointed in many positions in the ECZ system, and we are hoping that as Zambians, we are opening our eyes, and we have to ensure that we guard these votes, because there is very high chances that the UPND can steal the vote from the Zambian people. There is that possibility, because let's face it, we are seeing their games, their mingarato happening in our eyes today. But we as Zambians, especially the Zambian people now, they have waken up. Gone are the days when people used to say, oh, Zambians will always forget. Remember, President Kenneth Kaunda stayed for 27 years, MMD stayed for 20 years, PF 10 years, and now it is reducing. There is a high chance that the UPND may just last for 5 years, because Zambians can never be lied to again. Right now, what we are lacking is to see that this is the leader who can actually lead the Zambian people in terms of popularity and so many other things, because of lack of intra-party democracy. But believe me, when we go in the August elections, we are never going to see UPND getting any 50+1. We are never going to see UPND getting any 50+1. We are going to see these opposition political parties together getting more votes than the UPND. And that will lead to a second run-up. If we had an intra-party election, all the people in the opposition, we come together and we say, let Zambians vote. Who can lead them? You would see Zambians easily see that, oh, this person is the one to lead, and there would be no problem. But because of selfishness, because of greed in so many political parties, we cannot do that. This is why you see, even in one political party, people are being chased from there, because they don't want Zambians to say, this is the person we want to choose. And when we bring it at national level, that is the kind of clouds that we are seeing today. It is very gloomy. Zambians can't even tell which person, which leader they can go with. Bamwamba is different from, remember in 2015, when 2014, when Basata died, when Edgar Chagwa came on the surface, people decided that they are going for Edgar Chagwa. When Guy Scott dropped him, you saw what happened. I was in Woodlands. I was living in Woodlands there. There were protests, the whole nation. And there was no point for anyone to even doubt the popularity of Edgar Chagwa. Now when I ask you, amongst the PF, which people do the Zambian people want? You can't even answer that question. When we ask amongst we the opposition, who is the most popular that the Zambian people want? No one knows the answer. So why not allow everyone to participate? Then the people will tell. And after that, then there will be no questions. Like it happened in 2021. We all supported HH because he got the biggest number. And we did not allow it that the PF can steal the votes from the UPND, because that is a defilement of democracy. So these are the principles that should guide us when we are leading the countries. But when we are guided by political interests or short-sighted interests, would be pushing for agendas that can't even work. There is no inter-party democracy, but everyone is yelling, oh, opposition come together. Everyone should come together. How are you going to come together? What are the fundamentals that are bringing you together? Well, there must be certain fundamentals. At most, when you run in an election, when one gets the highest number of votes, automatically, based on those fundamentals, you can unite. But here, in terms of ideology, we see differences here and there, but ideology itself can be the foundation upon which people can unite. But look at some of the beliefs that we are seeing in these other political parties. Others don't even believe in development. Others are just in politics to make money. They can sell their political parties anytime, anywhere, to the highest bidder. So those are some of the challenges that we are seeing today. But by and large, an August election will unite Zambians, will unite leaders, and we are all going to come together.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, Doc. Dear viewers, we are hosting Leadership Movement Party President, Dr. Richard SILUMBE, and we are discussing the state of his party, state of the country, and preparations as he prepares to go to elections and work with his colleagues in the opposition. Today we are live on Millennium TV, and welcome to our dear audience on Millennium TV. Thank you for joining us. We'll be opening phone lines shortly. For the number is there on the line on the scrollers. You can call and ask Dr. SILUMBE any question. I'd raise the issue of ECZ. We are glad that SADC has sent the advisory council, the SIAC advisory council that comes usually after any election. They are reviewing 2016 and 2021 elections in order for the country to prepare for 2026 elections. Remember, SADC bothers about the democratic nature of elections, the credibility nature of the elections, the transparent nature of elections, whether the elections are free and fair, and the absence of violence in such an election. They have a code of conduct adopted by all countries, and there are various concerns around ECZ. The board isn't diverse and representative, and there are two elements that belong to the to the ruling party. There are concerns around the management. Even the election that they did, the voter registration exercise that is underway, there are a lot of concerns. Many members of the opposition are even calling for an audit of such a register. What do you see is our preparedness to elections, comparing to 2016, 2021, and the upcoming elections?
Up for a serious, manipulation. Why we are saying this? Because we have seen the track record in terms of appointments and so many other things point to the fact that it's very difficult for us to have the confidence that is needed for us to go in an election and feel that we are actually having an election that is free and fair. So we are calling on every Zambian to put an eye on this August election. By and large, we want every Zambian, all the people, everyone who is put into this election, to make sure that we audit and we safeguard the ballot, because without that, there is a high possibility of rigging. We don't want to start doubting the results of 2026 elections because there was no due diligence, because the opposition sounded an alarm of seeing cadres, non-cadres being appointed at the helm of ECZ, because the opposition spoke to the fact that you cannot do delimitation in an election year. You cannot do many things that they are doing in an election year. We opposed Bill 7, but then the government went ahead and did it anyway. So we have our concerns, and we want to see which parliamentary seats, or rather constituencies, are being delimited, because delimitation itself is also a rigging machine. Here is a situation. These are just assumptions. Imagine if the UPND chose to do delimitation in those strongholds, in their strongholds. We know that automatically they are going to have double the number of their MPs. So we want to see transparency in terms of delimitation. We want to ensure that every area, especially areas that have had fewer number of MPs, such as Muchinga, Northern Province, they should be the priority in delimitation. Because we are not going to accept the fact that other strongholds of theirs are the ones that are undergoing delimitation, whilst others are not undergoing delimitation. So those are the points of concern that we have. We are yet to see the list by ECZ. And because they forced this, we don't even know for what reason Bill 7 was necessary. My suspicion is that delimitation must be a magic number in the cards that they have as UPND. But we want to urge the Zambian people to ensure that they put an eye on this election, and we make sure that the UPND doesn't manipulate this election, because when they do that, they are going to steal the will of the Zambian people. This is the very reason why we are saying we need to ensure that Zambians know that this ruling party, as it is, they have failed. We are seeing electricity kuma last pantu ama elections ya parama olo nomba baleta amalaiti All this time, what was happening? What have they done? So ukukusense lolo bwacha kule tushoyimo kubati abantu bali mu panic no mbapa balefu okumuona okukitemingala tesha kubati bakonkanyepo okuteeka no mbafu bena Zambia na twisuka amenso na tumono obuchusho otupitiremo and na tumona nefire chitika tulefwa the same diligence that we saw in 2021 whereby Zambians were alert. There could not be any rigging. We saw how PF struggled with rigging. Whenever someone takes some ballot paper behind, people will be very suspicious and they will say, these ballots, where are they going? That is the kind of diligence that we want to see even in 2026 so that we can deny the UPND opportunity to rig this election. And by and large, we want the other stakeholders to get involved, NGOs, so many other people, stakeholders, to ensure that they work with ECZ to safeguard this vote, because the opposition alone can never do it, alone can never secure an election unless other stakeholders come in. We want to see parallel voter tabulation, want to see so many things happening to ensure that Zambians are given a credible election result.
Thank you very much. I'll be taking a few phone calls for callers, especially for the TV audience. They might go on top of the hour. So I would ask you to call the lines that is scrolling is 0973-078082. WhatsApp. For those that are calling, you should call 0973-078082 for WhatsApp. If you have any question for Dr. Silumbe, this is the time. He has just explained, a humble young man from Kapirimposhi. He hustled through his life, and the Lord blessed him with a scholarship to China and to Russia and South Korea, and he has now been running several businesses. Now he's a leader of the party leadership movement. If you have any concerns, any question for him, please, you can come. My other concerns is the political tension in the country. Some leaders have been calling for an endeavor of some sort that maybe that can help first bridge the differences. We saw them during Bill 7, how high the political tensions and how divided the country is. And there has been a call that maybe President Hakainde Hichilema should call for an endeavor and hear out the concerns of the opposition and other stakeholders. Do you subscribe to issues like that?
Funeral of the former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. We must be, the body of Edgar Chagwa Lungu must be turning in the fridge because it's not yet buried. You can't imagine what has happened to us as Zambians. Have we lost our culture? What has happened? How has politics overtaken all norms that makes the Zambian a person of value? We can never sacrifice the body of somebody who saved this nation for 7 years and is there in the fridge, and we have forgotten about it, and we are even doing whatever we are doing as a nation. When our president died, former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, that funeral was a uniting factor. We all came together. We mourned with the PF. We mourned with everyone. And a funeral should be something that should unite a nation. But other people, other entities, systems chose to politicize a funeral of a head of state. And we are talking about today, we have not buried the head of state. It doesn't make sense. Somebody must have a sense to say enough is enough. Let us unite as a people. It doesn't matter what happened, who did this, who did what. We come together and bury our former head of state. Mwaliumfako mumishi bamwambe fichitika kwali bati omuntu n'abamulowa n'abamulowere ni bakantwa takwa bapwatawe bakantwa n'abamulowa tatwashike pakafe bakachimone pakafe tukalete chilandushi muno mumushi abantu balalira bayisa pamo balanda kuba kwena bakantwa ngufu bachitire lelese ntushike uyu muntu ilo twashika olomba.
Thank you, Doc. Let me take some calls for you. Let me take some calls, Doc. Doc, let me take some calls. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Katongo. I'm calling you from within Lusaka.
Katongo, tell you can ask Doc for any questions.
Yeah, I think mine is what he was talking about concerning the selfishness that is embedded in opposition leaders. I think his thinking is what I also feel can best serve this country, because you cannot have the whole, I mean, that number of people all wanting to be president. So I think the way he thinks, whereby he says, let's go for an election, all those who want to stand, and then from there, it will be like a consensus by the people to say, no, this is what we want, and the one who gets the highest is the one that can be, everyone can converge towards, and then you can have a rerun. I think a rerun is possible this time around. Thank you.
Okay, a rerun for, yeah. Let me take some more calls. Doc. Just a minute, I can see Doc.
The president was not buried for years because people were playing politics.
Hello?
People were finger pointing.
Hello,
people
Doc.
were doing this. People were going to court and doing all kinds of gymnastics. This is very sad, and it has given a very bad precedence for our country.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling you from, I'm anonymous. I would love to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Unless you have a lawyer for me. Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. And we continue thanking you for this platform. You continue giving us. Please keep on giving us this platform. President Richard SILUMBE. Good evening, sir, Mr. President.
He can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. I like this man very much because he's very practical. He's very practical in his articulating issues. And these are the type of leaders by Manu Mwambaumu we need. Now, the big elephant is opposition unity. This ego that I saw yesterday was very alarming indeed and very shocking. You know, when you go to stand for the elections, separate as opposition political parties, those votes that you are getting, you are donating to the UPND. People of Zambia are resolved, President SILUMBE. People of Zambia are resolved. People of Zambia are tired of this government. They're tired. They have suffered enough. Eating pamelas as my when the Gurama pamelas in my shop Yamarwadis. Zambians have been subjected to the highest humiliation that has ever been seen since independence in this country. So that's why people are calling for you, opposition leaders. You know, I don't know, Emmanuel Mwamba, see, these people who are running these political parties, it's like these political parties are private enterprise for these people. You heard the first was talking yesterday. He donated over 1,500 votes to Chawama to the UPD. So, it's very...
Thank you. Let's try to take as many calls as possible, especially for the TV audience, so that Doc can answer your question. You're asking about opposition unity. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and do you have any questions for Dr. Richard Silumbe?
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Simbangwe Dani. Dr. Silumbe, thank you. I've followed you for the past 30 minutes. You have got a very good career in politics, and I think we need more people like you. But one thing that I would ask you, Silumbe, is leadership is a platform for eligible, knowledgeable people that can save the people. And then when you want to save the people, you put your interest last and the people's interest first. But Dr. Silumbe, in your own analysis, you as a doctor, you cannot do things alone. You need to engage other people. Just like the previous caller said, I've been listening to Emmanuel Mwamba the past 2 days, and he brought 2 people. And trust me, all I could see was the I. No, leadership is not about I. It's about we. So in my own capacity, by Dr. Silumbe, I feel like, and I'm urging you, you have a political future which is bright. Can you work with your other individuals so that you can help us to a better Zambia? Look, like you've said, Tatulashika, our former president, and you think everything is well to this. For me, it's actually, I'm in pain when I see what is happening. But we can put to a stop to this. And you, Dr. Silumbe, with your ideas, can you incorporate these ideas and start working with other people that can move this country forward? Thank you, Dr. Silumbe. God bless you and God bless Ambassador Mwamba.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. They are calling for unity of the opposition. If you have any call, quickly call and let so we allow Dr. Silumbe to take as many questions as possible. That was Dan Sinyangwe from Canada. He's asking about opposition unity, and he wants you to be serious about it. Maybe you take those 2 calls, Dr. Silumbe.
I don't know what we are going to do with many opposition leaders who feel that they have the capacity to lead. At most, they want to give it a try. I think what can be done with the people, because we have seen that many people would want actually the opposition to come together. But how do these oppositions come together? The only way is when people like you, Mwamba, bring platforms where Zambians can vote. If we can run a preliminary election to say, okay, bonse ba opposition mulipa ballot, isu to vote ni nani wala leadinga nga mwachite finish mwafuirisha kwa bantu abengi abakwete iri ayigo yakwata limbi ni nebo balanda tawe icho kansha abantu nabasala nabalanda ati umuntu ewinga tutungulula ni shikanshi mitima shalangukirwa abantu balanda tawe ni wino abantu balefwa virafine chali bali ba Edgar Chagwalungu nga muleyibukisha mu 2014 abantu bose balandira ati ifintu ni lungu nomba lero ifintu ni nani tapali wishibe ifintu ni nani tetule yanafatawo let's unite iseni tufuare platform otwalanda tawo bonse ntungulushi iseni tuvote tukwate ka preliminary fafine chibanga muri ku Africa Cup kwala bama preliminaries kwa ma knockout stages then babonse alanda tanka wina basa muna balusa bana tawe sisi twalusa ife twala support abanensu so filafine chiya chiresusa chafika na kuma finals kwa banombanga ni ba Cameroon na ba Senegal ebate anomba nombo kulanda fyatawe bonse mwe 56 mwe bali kuno tapali wingalinga na ba Senegal pantu ali batambiro fo baletea so kaishi apanomba twala kwata fya ma finals ni ba Senegal fe ni mwasonta na wa Nigeria kanshi wa Nigeria tabalingire no kufika kuma finals mwamwana so kanshi bwafya tukwete pali inonjita pali ndaka ichi ngatwafuirisha ni bantu nga imo bamwamba mwe bakweta ama platform ako bati mwaleta bena Zambia pamo mwaleta kuna babonsa watu anda tiseni tukwate ka preliminary okwati tumone uwasontwa kubena Zambia ni nani ile twachitefyo mwala muna bonsa abale ipelesha bala nakirwa nokulanda chawe sentupange nomba ichintu chimo nombere takulifyo kulanda fya tawe isentwise pamo babonse tule munata limbini wasarwa so kanshi umulandu wakukwatefyo nomba barabambinga bali muchipani chimo olo muli abantu 5 abale mfuate basarwa fish yabachitika kanshi muchipani chimo mwala sanga nomba pyambo kwakanika mwaba ifipani 5 ngefine tulemona so kanshi ukulanda kwali anguka lero kuchita kwali shupa that's why mule mwena na ma opposition ifi iseni tufuae preliminary platform nombele tatukwete platform ya preliminary na ma elections ya mu August 2026 tia baba preliminaries bonse bayiminina balaba kwata kwa manamba ingi ichi chonji shibe chakwati ba UPND tabakakwata ama numbers ayengi lero fika chitika ba opposition bakakwata ama numbers ayengi so kanshi ababonsa balemina abengi ma big machines na mubeshi that's why mulera ndatawe iseni tubombere chapamo lero basalangana baba pa ballot kukabati yasendako no yasendako kanshi na amavoti yachepa kwa bafyati ba ruling party na bakwata amavoti lero kubika pamwe yose amavoti ni shinatu kwata amavoti ayengi always ni 50+1 chimbo cha bantu bale muna mukwati ni fita chali muri mwemwe mdi na muri basata ili akwati the first to cross the line wins apanomba fyali chinja apana afichinja nomba as long as ama vote yonse nga twaya bika pamo aya ba opposition na achira ba ruling party nishi ba ruling party tabawinine efe fwe bantu fere twaishiba that's why tuila sakamana no kumona tawe nisha baba fuminamo nisha bale file kwa ballot yonse ama number ile na kwata kuka 100 yakwata kuka 20 yakwata ku 1000 you 20000 you 50000 twasankanya amavoti yonse yalya yonse amavoti ya opposition kanshinga yachira 50+1 ba UPND twabachira nishikwa ba second run up rerun iyo rerun yonomba bonse ifo tukesa support fyo muntunga umo pantunishi preliminary yapwa nombe finga tatuishibe kula munafi kwatika tuishife uwa imini nafi pa ballot ni shapa asenda mavote ni shapa UPND yapita UPND takapite nangu penge mini na abantu 1000 pa ballot paper teti bapite ba UPND ocho abena.
Thank you, my dear brother. Let's take another call. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, Machali.
Just to add on Dr. Valero, I think it's true. You know, this opposition, Neva Fred Membe, Neva Kalaba, Neva Naniva Makebi, Jimmy Neneka. You know, I think if Waland doctors could chava kokuima. Mwapanga platform mwamba whereby to vote takota we trefa kampanda ake minine kushatwa fidi shako. Nangu tukatenge fashta ku US whereby bamba kupitama provinces bakesi bamba provinces from one province to another nganiba PF. They start going from one province to another. Muchinga bakatama elections ba PF. Takudi nchiteo by the way. Ba voto wa wina kumuchinga. Nganiba makebi baisa na ku Eastern. Nakubona makebi ba wina baisa na Copper Belt ngani. Namba wina ni ncho twala senda ya ba candidate race. Isha kwa fyakula shooting afe in the dark. Tafiwe mena kalia hiyo. So we need unity, otherwise for Venezuela to allow chula 2026 at a party unit. So for Dr. Valanta Kwena Church, I hope other politicians can buy into that. Tuishi Oshomun Tuninani, Because in 2016, like he's saying. So we need to have a unity of purpose as we go forward. So let's get serious and change things.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Another one talking about unity of the opposition. Let me see if we can take the last call and begin to wind up. Doc, the caller was just urging you that the call for unity should not be compromised. Is encouraging you to reach out to your colleagues, Dr. Fred Membe, Harry Kalaba, the people in PF, and everyone else. They are saying this is not a matter we can negotiate. I don't know, you probably might need to re-emphasize the issue of unity, because our people still believe that even in this late hour, the opposition must unite.
Again, I want to talk about unity with the reality, because if I'll be talking about things as if they are easy to achieve, then I'll be lying, and I don't want to lie. Why I don't want to lie is because when we are speaking about the issue of unity, we forget the elephant in the room. What are the parameters that can bring the opposition together? Unity is very good, but we need when we are speaking about unity, we are seeing the biggest opposition is splitting apart. Many political parties are coming out of one big opposition political party. What is the root cause of that problem? No one wants to talk about it. We just want to talk about unity. You can never solve the problem when you are thinking at the same level as when you made that problem. That is the biggest problem that we have in this country. We want to avoid the facts and talk about illusions. Unity in opposition is an illusion until we sort out the root cause. The root cause is creating the platform for unity. So Kanshi, I'm urging the Catholic, I'm urging some churches, naba media bonse, iseni tuika tumani akapi, tuise chapamo, tulande no kulanda tukwewa au nomba trefa unity ya opposition. Unity ya opposition twala achieve muku mono kwa tufuayo uli popular ni nani, then bonse tuise chapamo, abena Zambia bavota banda tawo kwe no muntu ingarulinga uingalidinga unit ina nikane united front new you know o abena Zambia bakalanda bonse mukamona tukanaka tukambe no kusupport wino muntu ngani ba Fred Membe ngani Nebo ngani ba Ali Kalaba ngani ba Given Lubinda ngani ba Mundubire bonse tukesa chapamo nomba bonse nga turanda fiat unity na tuikala na mumanganda. Oh, unity, we need unity. Unity will never come. What will come is the reality, splitting of the opposition, because we lack intra-party democracy. For as long as Bamundubira tabapere chance ya kuimina ya kumina na Bamundubire na Balubinda, so that baish batuli popular ni teti bomfane iyo ndatakuli ilia convention teti bomfane kutobeke vipani nomba tulianda pali convention leo tulefu afe unity de longa tuanda pali convention tawe it's okay kairi kulifia makoti. Let's come together, let's have a convention, let's have a platform where people can actually vote and say this is the likest candidate. Then unity will come unquestionable. People will come and unite without knowing the root cause. No, it's not what is unity. Unity alone is not unity. You need the foundation for unity. On what platform is unity happening?
Thank you very much. Doc, we will be, because today we are the TV broadcast in conjunction with Millennium TV, we will be closing. Begin to give us your closing thoughts on Leadership Movement Party, your candidature for 2026 elections, and your participation, and just the call to Zambians as we begin to wind up,
as many, candidates as possible. And we, as Zambians, must be very careful with what we wish for. When we are calling for unity, I would rather Zambians, we should be calling for a leader that would take us to the promised land. Because I fear that fwewe na Zambia tuwawekesha hapo fya vile tuwale chita au tuwalafu nyapo wa PF uli onse fyo wala support wala vikapo. We jumped from a frying pan into fire. Nomba tulepi hapa. Tulimumulilo. Pantu mentality alifi atikuchinjafe. Uku chinjo buteko. Tufire tule mwone ntungulushi. Ni ntungulushi nshituwala vikapo. Nifi nshibala tuchitira. Fintu tulanda pamonga wa leadership movement. Tulefua fintu ififo nga tuafichita. Ni shichalo chesu chawama. Tulefua industrialization. Industrialization na production can only be achieved nga tuwasenda imigodi shesu. Tulefua abena Zambia vatampo kukontolo mukuba wesu ne migodi shesu no tukula pera bamwisa. Tulefua empanga ole sa tupera fwewe ni tuwala kontolo no tukula pera bamwisa bale kwata 1000 hectares 20,000 hectares nama title deeds. Mwewe na Zambia wikala muzambia wafero muzambia niwe squatter mchalo chove. No mbani tuli bantu bashani. Nombe ifeta tulefo okulanda po tulefo afe unity no muntu fyo uli wonse ichikufe na tuchinjo buteko. Let us know what we are replacing the UPND with. We need fundamentals, ideology that will take us to the promised land. So kanshi fwewe na Zambia tufetu aisuka menso no kumono kubati ile tule chinjo buteko lete tule buchinjafe tule bika po efintu ifyamano ifyo efintu filefwaikwa. That's why the leadership movement nafutu alitumpiramo no kulanda chao nafuna tukwata ofo tuingachita ngabena Zambia. Lero yabena Zambia wana chao tulefwayo ni chirifya wino. Lero ifuta tuwakale kukuchita continue selling the agenda that we Zambians must be Zambians and Zambia must be for Zambians. Because when we continue keeping politicians who are sellouts, selling the country, bringing ifintu fya kwatafire tuafirisha bayelete ifintu instead ya kusolva issue ya malaiti bayelete amasola. Lero nishina tuishwa kubati na kotu wakwata kumanani ku southern province kuti tuwapanga malaiti ya kwati fwebene tuwaikala fena bwino tuwalikwata na uranium iya kubati nga tuwaibomfya bwino tituwakwata malaiti ya kwati tuwalasha na kufyaro fimbi. Lero bapolitician fyonse fitawarelandapo tulefu afyo kuchinja ili ashiku chinja afe mukesa zangu kwati mwachinja no buteko bwakula mipera 4 days in 1 week amalaiti pantu nishtubikire fyamenso mukuchinja ukwabula okuchita interrogate intungulushi ni intungulushi ishi ni fishi mwala tuletera ifie fintu tufetu ashita focus instead of just talking about unity. Unity must be of purpose. It is unity of purpose, not just unity for anything. We need ideology and we want our leaders. This is what we are conversating. We need our leaders to have an ideology of ownership. Nga tuwakwata ownership ya fintu. No tuwabika mpawa abantu wakwati baisa nkushitishe fintu. Baka shitishe na manga ndo tuikalamo. Pan tufe tulefu afyo kuchinja. Tufe tuwala tungushi tuwashichenchenta. No kumwe kwa tishwe ntungushi tuwe bikamu. Ni ntungushi ya biliva muli Zambia. Te ntungushi shishirefe. No kumwe kwa ti politics makwebofe. Ichikuruna vaperako something vena tivashitishe filifyonse kanshi aya emashiwi ndefu ave na Zambia vale kwata vale tontonkanya pelo tulesala pantu mu August tulea mukusala kanshi voti lyesu tufile tuwaipsho kwati ili voti lo nde pero muntu nifisha kanchitira nifishi ndefu okumona nombanga tulebika pove pantu kuvota lichi vote fe nga yafini tuwase mu 2021 ni ishitwakula abwekesha pofe ifintu fimofini obuchushi bumobwine tukesa votera na bantu abakatulia n'abakambo kutulira abana besu pantu nishifwe tutondera pa kuvota tatufa no kumfwe ntungusho ofo shikaleta lero chikulufye tulefu afyo kuchinja.
Thank you very much. Doc, I would like to thank you for coming on this broadcast. The broadcast is a bit brief because we were together with Millennium TV and its audience. And you know, TV audience. It's not like social media where we can broadcast 2-3 hours. So I'd like to thank you. I think in all this, you articulated all the issues affecting your party, the perspective to the country, and, what your aspirations are. I would like to thank you for coming to this program, and I would like to thank Millennium TV for the opportunity to collaborate on this broadcast. So God bless you, and until we have another broadcast, colleagues, shalom, shalom.
We want change! We want change! We want change! We want change! We want a change!
The sound magician. Wi-Fi on the beat, boy.
Mukesa tupangira kwemisebo wali mipele nevoti ati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo nimwewo mwatile mukesa tukulira nechipatala ifwe nimwewo mwatile mukesa tukulira na masukulu kuno ukutula potwa misalila ifwe mwalitula baona lebo imisebo ala yagonaika ichipatala takwaba kuno abana besu basambirila mufimuti fyamango bana mayo mapapira mungande zipatala takwaba kuno imisepila chose mbalofwa bapepa vyebange fama lelilo mufunda tawafika nembuto tashafika ukutula potwa misalila ifwe mwalitula baona lebo nomba lelo mwabwela imwe mulefwa yatumivotele tatwakupele voti ngata wabomba tatwakupele voti ngata wabomba tawalimone voti ngata wabomba tawalimone voti ngata wabomba bantuno mwaka kuya bebele twanakanemwe mwachilamo bufi kuya bebele takwabulele numa kuya bebele mwachilamo bufi uno mwaka tulefwa yabakutubombera notya bakwisa kuno mukuzembereka mukutwibira mano nga twabavotera abaya nangu mwatupele ndalama tulepo katatwa mivotere nidoti kubeba wapoka walya nidoti kubeba wapoka walya ababina chimwe na mwekole uko bafuma balilaba bayikutapiza balaboko bafuma bayikutapai balabati bakabwela balya chikinine na mabanu inapana kaso wala onalebo mulabeja ukutula potwa misalila ifwe walitula baona lebo nomba lelo mwabwela imwe mulefwa yatumivotele tatwakupele voti ngata wabomba tatwakupele voti ngata wabomba tawalimone voti ngata wabomba tawalimone voti ngata wabomba bantuno mwaka.
We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices.